Hello Sagittarius. My name is Paul and this is Dove and Serpent Tarot. And this is going to be a general reading. So try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And if there is anything you need me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. And remember, Sagittarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And Four of Pentacles, very stable, very, very solid, right? This is a good place to start. This is a lot of kind of a realization of what you have in your life, right? This is kind of a pause, right? Just to kind of, I think, to kind of appreciate what's here, right? We've got this balance. We've got everything we need. This is safety. This is security. This is stability. Okay. Let's put this into some context, though, because that's not all there is. There's more to the story here. Oh, we've got the Fool energy. Very nice. Wow, we've got a lot going on here. I like the fire energy that we have. I'm a little bit concerned about the water, and I think this is kind of part of what we were just talking about with is the sun in Capricorn, right? It's kind of like appreciating the accomplishments that you've already made. We're kind of feeling a little bit too much of this water stuff. Right? Maybe you're feeling a little discouraged right now, right? Maybe you're not really seeing the success that you've achieved. I think you've accomplished an awful lot, but I feel like we're getting restless to do more, and maybe we're feeling that we haven't accomplished enough, right? Well, let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is one card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. Put Mr. Ed right on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, where we're hopefully going to see it confirm everything for us and tie everything together. But we're also doing something a little different. If at any point during the reading you get an idea, a sense, a feeling for what this card is, I want you to type it into the comment section. I want to see if we can collectively raise our vibrations, if we can collectively tap into spirit, into source, and start discerning this mystery card together, okay? It's a fun little exercise. So you got to stick around. But first, two major arcana energies, like the Fool and yet the Emperor, right? Very, very different, I'd say, those two. We do have some fire. We do have quite a bit of water, though the water is very different at the beginning than it is at the end. We don't have any air except for the Fool. The Fool is pure air, right? So it's not like the Swords cards. The Swords cards are kind of very specific forms of communication. The Fool is just kind of open to everything, right? And then we've got some earth energy, which is good. This is very good earth energy. So we do have a Fool, so we're going to need to do an I Ching hexagram. We have a Two of Pentacles, so we're going to need to do a yes or no coin spin, not a flip, but a spin. But first, let's talk about some of the cards that we started with. The Four of Pentacles. Maybe I should hold it like that. Four of Pentacles. You have created a lot in your life. I think you have accomplished an awful lot. The fact that you're here right now watching this tells me that you are a success, that you are achieving your goals, right? It may not feel that way right now. This is a card to me that says you are blessed. You are blessed. And I kind of feel like Spirit wants to pull you out of this is a real kind of swampy water we're in right now, right? It's like the daytime is kind of swampy, the nighttime is kind of swampy. This is like, and if we look, we kind of see a yin-yang thing going on, especially with the Two of Pentacles, right? It's dark and light. It's dark and light. So we want to kind of we want to pull ourselves out of both of these, right? And the Four of Pentacles, a lot of balance. We're looking for that balance. We're striving for that, right? For the feeling that wherever I am right now, you take a deep breath. We don't have any swords. So when I say we're going to take a deep breath, it's going to be a deep breath that releases everything, all of your worry, all of your tension, right? Because that's the Fool. The Fool is kind of a big bag of air. It is the deepest breath. It is the breath of the universe, right? The original breath. So if we need a breath of fresh air, that's the Fool. Because I think right now we've created a lot in our lives. We have this, it's almost like we're slowly building a tower around ourselves, right? That maybe we're not feeling the safety, security, the integrity, the stability of this card. And instead we're feeling this water energy. And if our castle is sinking into this quicksand, well, what do? You just keep building your walls up higher, right? To keep yourself out of the water. Right? So it's almost like we feel that we have to keep achieving more and more and more and more so that we don't sink into these emotions. But what we're really doing, I think, is we're isolating ourselves. Right? We've got this to go with that. This is the Knight of Wands. This is fire on fire. Pure fire doesn't really have a direction, is just kind of carried away by the impulse, by the energy, by the momentum to build, 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 build. So we might be piling up achievements or just walls around us generally, in whatever area this is, for whatever reason or with whatever materials. We're building these walls, and we're doing so rather frantically. And I think because we have this kind of double negative water energy, not the kind that cancels each other out, but we feel this water energy so vividly, so viscerally, that we're building, 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 because we feel that's how we keep ourselves out of that swamp, that quicksand. Okay? And at the top of this tower sits our Emperor. And our Emperor is kind of this, to me, in this situation, it feels like maybe we're overworking. It feels like we're kind of overdoing it. We might be overachieving, really, right? Because this Emperor can sometimes be a bit of a workaholic, right? Especially with this kind of impulsive energy, and that Four of Pentacles is we just want to keep building, keep accumulating. We might be working way too much. It feels like all of this, maybe it's a focus on career or what, it doesn't have to be career, but it's something like that. We're so immersed in this work to try to avoid this, that what we're doing is we're building this castle on the quicksand, and we have to keep building it higher and higher and higher until it becomes a tower. Maybe that mystery card is going to be a tower card. That'd be a little on the nose, but I feel like it could be. And that is kind of, it's the strength of this Emperor card. Because the Emperor is very disciplined, very strong, very powerful. Has the authority, rules the realm. Emperor says build, we build. Emperor says higher, we build higher. Right? It's kind of building the pyramids. No, I want it bigger, higher. Make that pyramid touch the heavens. And that's what we're doing. Okay? And I think that we are being guided by these cards to take a break from this overachieving or overworking, or however you want to phrase it, and instead move into the Fool energy. Now, what is this water that's holding us down? Well, this is going to be unique for everybody. I don't want to get too specific, but first, Seven of Cups. This is behind you. This is maybe the reason why we're here now. And this is kind of a disappointment, this one. I feel like we were involved with something or someone, maybe a business thing, maybe a romantic relationship, I don't know. We were involved in something, and we thought it was a paradise. We thought it was beautiful. We thought it was perfect. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't. And I feel like that was rough, right? And that really affected us. Because we saw, but, I should say, there's a lack of air energy here. Maybe we need a little bit of air energy rather than all of this water, so that we can look at this rationally and say, yeah, you found out that this paradise was really kind of a swampy nightmare. But isn't it better to know and do something about it than to continue living in a false paradise, right? So we need a little bit of the discerning air energy, but we don't have any. So I'm not gonna harp too much on that. But the Eight of Cups down below. We're still reeling from this. There's still a feeling as if our hope, our aspiration has been choked, has been squeezed out of us. This is an orange after you squeeze the juice out of it, right? And I think this is why we're focusing now on this Emperor stuff, this creative. And I mean, these energies right here are perfect. These are great. Fire and earth, you know me, you know this channel. I love fire and earth together, right? It's direct from spirit to earth. Creation and manifestation. It's from idea to implementation instantly, right? With no resistance. With no thinking or feeling, no human personality to get in the way. Yeah. That's a very good thing. I like that energy here. But in this case, it seems like it's a way for us to avoid dealing with this. All right. So let's talk about the Fool. First thing with the Fool, we're going to do an I Ching reading. The Fool is all expansive. The Fool is wide-eyed and curious and expansive, wants to experience everything. This is the kind of energy that goes to a party, wants to talk to everybody. Goes to the zoo, wants to see every animal. We're taking our daughter to the zoo later. Goes to, I don't know, wherever, and wants to see every single thing. Goes to Disneyland, wants to ride every single ride. Doesn't care that it's going to be tired or that the lines are, a million hours for one ride. I'm not very much of a Disney person. Just saying. But the Fool wants to do everything all at once, right? And this is very different than the Emperor. The Emperor is more in a box, right? This is what I want to do. I'm going to stay in this little box where I'm comfortable. This is my wheelhouse. I'm just going to work. It's like the Emperor sits in an office, and only that office, and does its work all day, all night, because there's something it doesn't want to face. But the Fool doesn't have an office. The world is my office, right? Wherever I lay my head is home. I like old Metallica better than new Metallica, though. The Fool wants to wander, wants to interact, wants to experience things, right? This is a breath of fresh air. This is getting outside from this tower that we've built around ourselves. This is us getting outside and just seeing what the heck is out there, right? So first of all, I feel like this is, this has to be getting out of our tower, getting experience, doing some other things, spending time with others, networking, sharing ideas, right? It's the Fool energy. It's the pure idea. It's the original idea. It's having like a fresh perspective. Venturing out of our little box in order to get some new inspiration, get some new ideas, right? Learn new things through interacting with the world and with other people. Right? Explore other paths. Right? The Fool can just do everything. Let's do that Jing reading before I get too enthusiastic about that Fool. I love the Fool card. I love the Fool card. Because the Fool doesn't have an agenda, doesn't have a purpose, doesn't have a reason, just goes out and does everything. It may find it stumbles into what it was meant to stumble into. Right? It's through that spontaneous action, just that wide-eyed wonder and curiosity, that we kind of almost sometimes literally stumble into what was meant for us. Right? We can't do that if we're stuck in our tower, if we're stuck in our office, if we're stuck in our Emperor energy. 4. Hexagram 4. Not knowing. Not knowing. Well, not knowing is a couple of things. One, it's no swords, right? No swords, no air energy. We're not trying to know anything. And also, not knowing is the Fool. The Fool is card 0. It is not. Right? It is nothing. It is 0. Not knowing. The Fool stumbling into knowledge, gnosis, destiny, right? Let's look at the hexagram. 4, not knowing. Creating success. The first consultation speaks clearly. The second and third pollute the waters. Polluted, not speaking. Constancy bears fruit. Interesting. Interesting. So this is a card that is saying, don't keep asking the same questions, right? You ask it first, you ask the question one time, you get an answer. If you ask it again and again and again, well, we're polluting the waters, right? We're just muddying things up. We're not going to get a different answer. So maybe that has to do a little bit with over here, not knowing. Right? Maybe the absence of air energy here is because we've already exhausted all the questions to find out who, what, where, when, and why all of this is going on. Maybe we should be okay with not knowing the answers to this. Why did this happen? What did I do? Right? How did I let that happen? Whatever. Okay, so that's one aspect of not knowing. Maybe we just need to move past this, and maybe we'll stumble into some knowing, some gnosis, some insight, but not if we're intentionally trying to analyze this. Again, there's no swords cards here. We're not trying to analyze this. The rest of the hexagram says, to be ignorant is a creative, harmonious way to engage with your world. Well, the Fool is kind of pure ignorance, right? And this is ignorance in the sense of having no self-awareness, right? But in a good way. It's the loss of self, right? It's the loss of self, because when I'm in myself, maybe right now, I'm feeling this water energy. I was kind of feeling some water energy like this the other day. But if we can lose ourselves, I'm a big Eminem fan too. If we lose ourselves in experience, in life, in the world, then it takes us out of this water energy. Then we're not conscious of ourself. There's no self-consciousness. There's no none of the anxiety that comes with that, right? So that's what I mean by ignorance, by not knowing, by wanting to experience everything. Yeah, I'm kind of ignorant of how long the lines are at Disneyland or whatever, or how it's really not possible to see every animal at the zoo in one evening. So the Fool's ignorance is that spontaneity, not trying to know anything, just doing, just being, right? Pure breath. Don't go running after answers, as if it's embarrassing not to know. And see, that's what the emperor is holding on to. Predictability, doing what we know can work, right? I like going to work and staying in my tower and staying in my office because I know what the work is, I know what I'm doing, I'm safe, I'm comfortable, I'm in my element. We're doing what the emperor loves to do, right? And that is to, well, rule an empire, I guess. Hold steadily to not knowing, and hence to learning. That will bring good results. What don't you know? And what if you didn't need to know all the answers now? How can you learn from experience? See, if you're not knowing, the fool is not. Right? The fool is the fool in search of wisdom. The fool is becoming the sage. And the first step is to admit that we don't know, we don't need to know. Let's just experience the world, and maybe we will get the new ideas, get the innovations, get the inspiration through our interactions with the world and with other people. Right? Also, we have Indigenous Peoples Day coming up. I don't know why that came to mind right now. But as we move to the path of the serpent, we see some good stuff. We see some change. We see 2 of Pentacles and 8 of Pentacles. We see a little more fire, and we see some good water energy being established. So first, with the 2 of Pentacles, I want you to think of a yes or no question. It doesn't have to be related to this, but I'm sure in some way it will be. Because anytime we get a 2 of Pentacles on this channel, we have to do our yes or no coin. Now, I can't flip it in the air because I've got lights and cameras and gremlins and cats and stuff up there. But I'll spin it on the table, which is kind of more fun to look at anyway. So think of your question, yes or no question. Pause the video if you need to, because I'm going to spin the coin. Oh, and it is a yes. The answer is yes, whatever your question was. Now, with the 2 of Pentacles here, our yes is, can we change this darkness to light? Can we change what seems like pessimism into hope and optimism and love and joy and beauty and blessings? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I think we've already talked a little bit about how to do that. It's kind of all centered around this fool. All centered around this fool, which is also the name of a very funny show on TV. It's called This Fool. It doesn't really apply to this situation, but it's a good show if you need a laugh, right? And the fool, well, the fool loves a good laugh, right? The 2 of Pentacles. I think that we have to do things differently. We have to be proactive. We have to take a positive step. This is the step outside of our tower, outside of our office, outside of this swamp. Go get some fresh air, right? Get a little fool going. Get your fool on. Get some sunshine, right? This is, to me, it's about flowing through the ups and downs, the ins and outs, the yin and yang of ourselves. You're going to feel the emotions, and sometimes, like, you know, I'm sure you've had the experience where you're out in the world, you're feeling pretty good, then suddenly, like a wave, you just get this sinking feeling, right? We're kind of back in this 8 of Cups. We just feel the drain, you know, the long face. And sometimes we don't know why, but that's just it. We have to be okay with not knowing. We're not always going to know why we feel that way, right? And maybe you do know why. Maybe there's more information that you want to learn about this. But the point here is that those waves will overcome us sometimes. And we could be perfectly happy and having a good time, and then suddenly we get kind of seized by a mood or a depression. But let's not wrestle with it. Let's not struggle with it. If it takes us kind of back home to relax for a while, or if we have to sit down or whatever, kind of healthy and productive ways that we can sit with that energy. Let it then flow away from us, just like the serpent on the 2 of Pentacles. It is gracefully and effortlessly gliding through the duality of the manifested world. Pleasure and pain, life and death, up and down, back and forth, right? Joy and sorrow, happiness and sadness. I mean, that's the way of the world, right? And this is kind of the world serpent here. So I think that we have to allow ourselves to flow into the good energy, right? And not resist that, just the same way that we don't want to really wrestle with the negative energy, so-called negative energy. We don't want to wrestle with that, and there's no swords here. We're not trying to fight against it. We're not arguing with any of it. I feel it. I'm going to just feel it, and I'm going to let it flow. And I'm going to make sure that I'm riding this snake, right? I'm a big Jim Morrison fan too. That I'm riding the snake back into the happiness too. And back and forth is okay, right? I feel like the snake dropped you off in this water energy and we're just kind of waiting for the next train to come by. Or we're not, or we've just decided to stay in the tower and we're sitting here. But the next card now, this is the 3 of Wands. This is really telling me that you are getting inspired, right? We're finally getting somewhere with this reading. I think that, and I know it's kind of been a long reading already, with the 3 of Wands, we're getting that inspiration, right? We're understanding how our biggest motivation and inspiration is when our thinking, our feeling, and our doing are in unison, right? These are those moments of intense creativity and real inspiration, not the kind of creativity that we might have been talking about with the Emperor and the 4 of Pentacles. That's kind of building a tower. This is real inspiration, right? And I think you're getting this from interactions with the world, from other people. I think this is how we ride the snake into the next wave of happiness, right? Because this card's in the environment. This card is in the position of timing and your relationships with the environment. It's time for you to find other people that have the same, perhaps, core values that you have, that kind of share the same ideas, that you can inspire each other, right? And this, I think, is what the Fool's kind of wandering into. A situation where these are going to be some very harmonious individuals, right? That your inspiration will come through these interactions. And that's how we'll really get inspired to do really great things beyond what we're doing here. And this maybe is a feeling of happiness and satisfaction and a feeling of purpose and connection. Right? This is giving the Fool something to commit to. Right? Something that maybe makes you forget all about this water here. Because now your thinking, your feeling, and your doing are centered around something else. Right? This is you finding a new goal, right? Something new to bring the Emperor over here too. A new purpose to commit to, an inspiration, right? A new goal, perhaps. I don't know that there was a goal over here. It just seemed to be more work, 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 just build the tower higher, higher, higher. Here, we're committing to something. Right? And we have to take our time. We have to really be organized and diligent with it. And this is in the position of what we don't want. This is the obstacle card. Okay? And this is an obstacle because this is slow, deliberate, intentional, detail-oriented, very different from the energy we got now, which is kind of hectic and frantic. Knight of Wands, right? So this is a big difference between these two. And this is what we need, but it's the obstacle. We've got to slow down. Smell the flowers, right? Take time to look at your environment. Appreciate the details. Focus on the details. Do the slow, delicate, careful work. It's almost like a meditation, right? Some people, I don't know, knit or sew or do some kind of needlework. Anything that really takes slow and deliberate movements. There's a grace to it, right? It's the same kind of flow, the gracefulness that I feel with this Two of Pentacles. It's the small movements that matter, the micro movements, the micro expressions, right? Micro emotions. It's just the little sly smile, the little tiny, tiny movement in the corner of your mouth when you catch yourself doing something that is slow and deliberate, kind of meditative, right? And that little corner of your mouth movement there, that's the beginning of a smile. That's when you realize that you're doing something that feels good. You're doing something that you like. It's not the crazy kind of frantic, hectic energy here. Got to build higher, higher, higher. No, now it doesn't matter how much we produce or how high we build this pyramid or this tower. It's the joy that we find in doing this. And maybe we're doing this because the Fool has got outside, has stumbled into I think this is a group effort, right? I think that you're networking with people and you found a shared purpose. Maybe it's a team sport. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's a book club or team crocheting or, I don't know, robot wars or whatever it is. But I think it's a team effort. And I think you're going to find in those small, slow, quiet moments in the middle of the activity where you're going to see and feel the beauty of what you're doing. And that's the real blessing, the real gift. We're going to close it out with this Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is some Cancer energy in practice. It could be a Cancer person in your life, maybe, that maybe is involved in this kind of group. But I feel like this is really, this is you feeling like you have something deeper and something spiritual to offer, right? And that you're also kind of receiving the blessings and the offerings, not only from Spirit, from the heavens, through this work, this opportunity, this kind of collaborative or group effort thing, but through the individual other people involved, right? That we're really exchanging love and this kind of almost empathy, compassion, right? It's just being with this group of people, I think, makes you feel good. Because we don't know if the Knight of Cups is giving or receiving in this picture. It's doing both, right? It's doing both. And I think it's through you sharing of your gift, sharing of your time and your energy in this situation, and also receiving the rewards and benefits of that, right? It feels good to give, but it feels good to be here, right? This is a really happy feeling here. It's a feeling of really being loved, of being in a comfortable place, right? And now we've kind of forgot all about the water energy that we had back there. Let's look at the mystery card. This video is getting way too long. Mystery card. This is where I ask you all to try to connect with the images and the energies on the table. And let's see if we can raise our vibrations. Let's see if we can discern this mystery card together. I think that's how all the cards were. So if you want to pause the video, go ahead and pause it. And I will try to think of what I'm expecting here. Well, okay. What I think it's going to be some more water energy. You know, I think maybe a 6, a 9, or a 10 of cups. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Ed. Okay, we're going to take a look. So put your answers down below. I was wrong. There's a Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is kind of, well, this seems very appropriate too. Maybe we don't need the Cups energy. Maybe because we finished with the Knight of Cups. That might be enough for the water, right? We already talked about that. But maybe the Ten of Wands here is to say, look, the way we're going now is you're carrying this whole burden by yourself. So this is kind of a card that echoes this idea that we need to network, that we need to do, teamwork. We need to kind of lighten our load. We need to disperse some of this. We can't carry this whole burden ourselves. Right? This is someone who's just, they've got their arms full as much as they can carry because they don't want to have to deal with anything else. You know? You've loaded yourself up with heavy bags so that nothing else is going to bother you. Right? This is kind of the same thing we're talking about on the path of the dove here. So this is telling me that, look, we need to spread some of this energy out. We need to network. We need a team. We need friends. We need a support system. We need family. Whatever it is. We need our book club or our robotics club or I don't know. It could be a church thing too. It could be a religious organization, a temple, a lodge, right? An order. It could be friends, family. It could be crocheting. I don't know. But we need that, right? And I think that it helps to have others around us so that we're not feeling overpowered or overburdened with all of this energy. Okay, I think this is the confirmation card that we need to echo this idea that, hey, we need to get out of the house. We need to put some of these sticks down and start doing some other things. Let's stop carrying this whole load for ourselves, for really, we're not even going anywhere with it, right? This figure isn't looking where they're going. There's no direction. I'm just carrying it so I don't have to do anything else. I'm just holding on to this big pile of stuff so I don't have to do any other lifting, right? I used to move furniture when I was younger, like my early 20s. And there'd be some people that'd be working with us, and they would just be holding on to one thing and just kind of sort of moving around in a circle, right? Like not really doing anything, just holding something big. And I realized that it's because they don't want to have to take this thing, move it over there, come back, get another thing. They don't want to have to actually do the work, right? So they're just kind of holding on to one thing. They look busy. It looks like, oh, I'm not going to bother you. You already got something heavy, right? But they weren't actually doing anything. It's a clever trick. But I think this is a good reminder for us that we need to be a little bit more Knight of Cups. Let's put these sticks down. Let's start interacting with others. Let's give of ourselves through acts of service, to just spending time with people, through being kind and connecting with others on a deeper level, you know. And we'll get a lot out of that as well. I think you're going to be very happy. I really do. And we're going to do an extended too, Sagittarius. If you want to stick around, click on the link that's either above or below in the video description. New readings for Sagittarius every Wednesday and Sunday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. I want to thank you for watching this reading all the way through until the end. And I want you to remember, Sagittarius, that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you, and we are all in this together.